Hello and welcome to our talk show Rubaru. I am Neha Chauhan and today we are in conversation with Sabri Raj. She is the founder and the creative director of Rose 2.11, a brand that beautifully blends art and architecture. First, we welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
It's such an honor to have you here. So, if I talk about my question, so that is the first question. That is that you shifted from economics to fashion. So, when did you realize that the fashion and design is your true calling?
When I was in the 12th standard, I did want to study fashion design, but by the time I realized that I should fill in my application for NIFT and NID, it was too late and pre-boards were approaching, and then I did well in boards. So my parents told me that I should have a regular mainstream degree before I move on to something creative so that in case it does not work out I have something to fall back upon.
Hmm.
So that's how I ended up doing economics, and then even though I managed to complete the course, but I never really enjoyed it. I did not enjoy the experience of being in a course which was
That you were not
very
passionate about.
theoretical
Yeah.
and which I wasn't passionate about. Many of my college mates from my college have done really well for
Hmm.
themselves because Stephens is a very prestigious college. Some
Right.
of them are bureaucrats. Some people are doing well in the corporate, but I had this in my mind. I had this clarity right from the start that I don't have to do what others are doing. I have to do what I can do best
Hmm.
and what keeps me motivated.
Right.
So I enrolled into the master's program at Delhi School, but I realized that this is not for me
Hmm.
because still bachelor's level, still you manage to have some fun, but master's is very serious, and if you don't even like that thing, then it makes no sense to continue.
Right.
And it took me a while to speak to my parents about it, but they were very supportive eventually, and that's how I ended up at Marangoni Milan. I was there for a year.
That's amazing. And if we talk about your brand, that is that you the name, the Rose 2.11. So where did you get the idea to name your brand this? Is there any motivation or inspiration behind this or any story related to your brand?
So there are two things here. The first is that I did not want it to go by my name.
Hmm.
Basically, I did not want to name my label Saveri Raj or something similar.
Hmm.
I because it's what we do is not very typical.
Hmm.
It's the clothing philosophy, the brand philosophy is being different, being erratic, being
Hmm.
unpredictable, avant-garde. So that's why I chose this name, and the numeric part of the name
Hmm.
actually
2.11.
2.11. That is in the British date format. That's 2nd November, which is my mom's birthday.
Oh, okay.
So that's why I chose this.
That's very nice to know about it. And as you talk about Milan, so how does studying in Milan shape your creative vision, your inspiration?
So the teaching wasn't bookish. We had museum visits, and we were motivated to go out and explore. And I was gaining exposure to things like art history, things that I knew very little about. So that was a very good learning experience. The instructors, they were some of the most brilliant faculty members. Um they were just so passionate about what they did. In fact, one of my instructors, she had worked at Fendi, and then
Wow.
she came. Then she started teaching because she wanted to support her own brand financially, so she was teaching to do that.
That's
So
great.
that's the kind of passion that you see in people there about fashion. They are even though I would say that Italy is more conservative from the point of view of fashion, if you consider it in the European context, but I still think that they are very aware of how they have to carry
Hmm.
themselves, and it's truly commendable. Even an 80-year-old is very fashionably dressed.
So it is all about that, right? And gaining experience. And if we talk about that, you have showcased in London Fashion Week. I mean, that's huge. That's a great achievement. So what do you want to say about it when you get to know that you wanted to showcase that's in London Fashion Week? How did you manage all the designs? How did you do that?
Uh, so we for the first time I did it, I was already working on a collection,
Hmm.
so I just made it more artistic so that it's fashion week
Hmm.
worthy, so to say. But for the second time, I had to. I remember I was applying for Lakme Fashion Week
Hmm.
also. They invited my application, although it did not happen at a later stage. However, I was trying for that also, and then I had to design 4 garments separately for London Fashion Week.
Hmm.
And I took a complete month to do that, including the design process and the finishing, everything. But the garments were very well received. One of the ambassadors for London Fashion Week, Mr. Hubing, he was in fact asking about me because I
Hmm.
could not physically be present
Oh.
the second time. And there was a very rousing applause. So that's very encouraging. I mean, as an artist, being praised, uh, it's very humbling also. It's very touching also.
Yeah, it's a huge compliment too, right?
Yes,
Right. And if we talk about that, your brand, so your brand means like construction and deconstruction, right?
yes.
So can you tell us in simple words so that viewers can understand about it? What does that mean? I mean, construction, deconstruction in fashion. I mean, that's such a unique thing that we have heard.
Okay, so basically, you can say that the bedrock of what we do is tailoring. Almost,
Hmm.
if you've been through our looks, you would realize that a lot of it depends on precision and perfect tailoring, and there are layers to outfits. Uh, Within the same outfit, there are
Hmm.
2, 3 fabrics. So we are deconstructing something and then adding different elements
Hmm.
and reconstructing it. Uh, but all of this is using tailoring. Basically, it's tailoring.
Okay. And if we talk about fashion, so I think
Decon
just
uh,
yeah.
Deconstruction is just breaking down something into simpler
Hmm.
blocks, and reconstruction. I would just
Put it together or
put
something,
it together and come up with something unique.
right? And if we talk about the fashion, the current trend that is sustainability, right? So what do you think that what is your role taking that in your mind, the sustainability in fashion?
We don't really come. We can't really say that technically we are a sustainable label, but we are sustainable in the sense of only making things to order. We don't make unnecessary inventory to minimize wastage, to minimize the pressure on resources like water. Because
Hmm.
when you are behind the scenes, you see how much it's affecting the environment, and I do have that realization that a lot of product is moving
Hmm.
nowadays. Uh, some brands are coming out with 3, 4, 5 collections a year, and because of social media, people are chasing newness all the time. They will see an online catalog
And they
on
will just buy
Instagram
it.
and they will just buy it. They'll think, कि, okay, it's fine, it's a few thousands, we'll buy it, we'll wear it a few times, and we'll discard it.
Hmm.
That's where their thinking ends. But that's actually where it should begin, because
Hmm.
what happens to it once you discard it? It ends up in a landfill.
It's just creating pollution.
You are just polluting the environment, and even uh, manufacturing. Say, for example, I'm not even talking about how much water denim uses, or how much a cotton shirt uses. But even the simple process of dyeing a fabric, that also needs water. And then all these industries, the mass production systems, they just discharge this untreated waste into the environment, and consumers discard their used items. Landfills are building up.
Hmm.
So I think that it's important to focus on fewer styles. Like, we have very small collections. I just came out with the fall winter collection, keeping in mind the change in weather,
Hmm.
and we have only done 15 looks. I don't think that the any other brand at this time is being so niche
Hmm.
and doing such few looks or such few collections a year.
Right.
We only do two collections and of 15 to 17 looks. But those looks, for example, this collection took me 4 months to complete,
Okay.
because that kind of attention to detail is shown to each piece, to each garment.
Right. And if we talk about what's your point on the fast fashion industry? We have all know about fast fashion, that using fabric, or maybe, and also the child laboring, that we have seen that few brands are still using children as in labor to make clothes, and still people are not boycotting them, or matlab, they are not ignoring those brands.
Yeah, that's true. And although I want to avoid giving a blanket statement
Hmm.
that people should just stop using fast fashion, but say for somebody who does not have the purchasing power, they can't do much about it. And I respect that, I get that. Uh, but for it's more disheartening when you see multi-millionaires, multi-billionaires buying fast fashion, even
Hmm.
though they can buy something that's been made ethically, that has been made
But
sustainably.
still, for the luxury and for the name sake of the brand, they bought all those.
Uh, they just I don't know. For example, there's this supermodel called Bella Hadid.
Hmm.
So she once was in a controversy because she's a very rich supermodel. She's a
Yeah,
multi-millionaire.
she's.
She can buy a highly priced dress also, but she got a $16 dress from this. I'm not going to take the name, but
Hmm.
a fast fashion joint. So people were asking her that you know the consequences that
But still,
fast
you bought.
fashion has
Hmm.
on the environment, and you are one of the people who can easily afford clothes that are sustainable, that are made from natural fibers,
Right.
or uh, you know that will last you many seasons. Because the problem with all these fast fashion brands is also that they don't last beyond 1 or 2 seasons.
Yeah.
They get worn out.
And if we talk about the trends that is going on fashion industry, that is wearing anything. I mean, I think you use a designer, so you also know about that. Wearing something to the occasion, right? If you're going to some wedding, you will wear something according to the wedding, but you can't wear a formal. You can't wear some uh, sunset type of clothing into the wedding, right? I'm talking
Right.
about that. So do you think people should know about it, but we actually take it as a very criticism thing?
Not following the
Yeah,
dress code.
they're not following the dress code and according to them, but still they're wearing anything they want, and this like this is our freedom. We can wear anything we want, but still, I think place is important where you dress yourself.
Yes, definitely. That's always going to be important. Say, if instead of this black blazer you
Hmm.
were wearing, you were to show up in a black tank top or a crop top,
Hmm.
it would not look very professional. And so I think that fashion is not just about wearing clothes for the protective function that they have, that they cover the body from heat and dust and weather. It's also about the image that you want to put out there.
Hmm.
If you want to be taken seriously, you will dress professionally. If you don't take yourself too seriously, then chances are that it will also show up in your dressing.
Mm, right, and people will not take you seriously about like when you don't, because I think maybe everyone knows about it that having a good fashion sense is actually very important to build confidence, to be
Yes,
talked to someone, or whether it's meeting, whether you are in a corporate, whether you are in some other fields, right?
yes,
So it is, I think, dress code is mandatory and important.
yes, it's quite important.
And if we talk about, and is there any trends in the industry that you like in fashion?
Yeah, basically, it's a it's it's also kind of the starting point for my brand. I don't like a lot of things happening.
Mm,
I like to keep it clean and simple, and I like well tailored outfits, and I think that layering always enhances the look.
mm,
Layering and styling, I uh, I think how you accessorize makes a lot of difference, and I've actually seen that because one of the things is that I don't personally, at least not anymore, I don't
mm,
shop a lot
okay.
because there are consequences to buying more than you can wear, even in
Mm.
rotation. You're just polluting the environment. You're
And you can
wasting.
also style clothing according to
Yes,
your style.
exactly. So, that's when it occurred to me that it's okay to repeat outfits
Hmm.
and you can just be smart about it. You can style it differently.
Right. We all have washing machine. We can wash the clothes and still wear it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. We need to change that mindset.
yes.
Yeah.
And there's just so much, from a lot of clients and even from friends, I hear I have this party to go to,
Hmm.
but I don't have
I think
anything
to
to
wear.
wear. So I tell them, why don't you repeat something? And some of them are just aghast by that suggestion. Ki, how can I even suggest that? Uh, what a ridiculous suggestion it is. But it's actually better. I think that uh, somebody has to set the right example, and I
Hmm.
think at least some people are doing it in the Indian context. I see that Alia Bhatt repeats her
Hmm.
outfits, which is great actually. And then celebrities abroad like Nicole Kidman,
Hmm.
etc. Like there was a, I think the Met Gala last year was uh, in honor of Karl Lagerfeld. He
Hmm.
was associated with Chanel for a number of years. So Nicole Kidman used to advertise a perfume
Hmm.
by Chanel, and she wore a gown that she wore for that fashion film advertisement
Hmm.
many years to the Met Gala. So I thought that this is something really good. This is like setting the right
Right.
example.
Right. At last, any message you would like to give to the audience, to the young generation, like young inspired people who wanted to start in fashion, wanted to break in fashion?
I would say that it doesn't matter where you start, how you start. There are some really great designers who have not even had formal training. One of my personal favorites has been Rei Kawakubo. But she never had any personal training, and I do think, that she's in the all-time greats. She's
Hmm.
amongst them. So if you're passionate, if you're willing to work hard, you can join this profession even after graduating from college. I started when I was
Hmm.
23, 24,
Studying
after
economics.
doing my graduation, everything in economics. And I got mocked a lot for that. What has gone wrong with her? Why does she want to change? But then, people will always have something to
Something to say,
say.
right? You just
So
have to follow your passion.
yeah, and just be willing to work hard and work honestly. Do it with, there's something as just checking the tech, the just checking off the item of your to-do list and
Hmm.
actually focusing on it and putting your heart into it and doing it.
That's
So that's all I would want to say to the younger crowd, because when I do have interns, I do feel like some of them are quite hardworking, no doubt, but
hmm.
some of them do tend to take things quite lightly and for granted. So I think that uh, being passionate and being focused matters.
Right. Discipline and all.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Saviri, for
Thank you.
joining us and having this conversation with me. It's lovely meeting you.
Same here. Thank you.
Keep watching our talk show Ruburu. We will be back with another episode.